Part 1. The Unexpected Encounter. Marcus Chen wiped the sweat from his forehead as he looked at the broken mining drill. The machine was older than his grandfather, but it still had to work. That was life on Station Delta 7, a small mining outpost, at the very edge of human space. Nothing was new here, nothing was easy. Another day, another broken machine, Marcus said to himself. He was the construction foreman for the station. That meant he fixed everything. Machines, buildings, pipes, and sometimes people's problems too. The station was small. Only 50 humans lived and worked here. They dug rare metals from asteroids and sent them back to Earth. It was hard work, but someone had to do it. Marcus liked the quiet. He liked being far from the big cities and busy planets. He was under the drill, trying to fix a broken pipe, when he heard a loud crash outside. The sound was so loud that it shook the whole station. Marcus dropped his tools and ran to the window. "What the hell was that?" he said. Outside, he could see smoke rising from the asteroid field nearby. Something had crashed, something big. Marcus grabbed his emergency kit and ran outside. He put on his spacesuit quickly. Working in space for 10 years had made him fast at these things. The crash site was not far from the station. As Marcus got closer, he could see it was a small ship. But this was not a human ship. The metal was strange. It seemed to change colors in the light. Strange symbols were carved into the sides. This was alien technology. Marcus had never seen a real alien ship before. Few humans had. The galaxy was big, and most alien races stayed away from human space. They thought humans were too primitive, too weak. Marcus did not care what aliens thought about humans. He had work to do. Smoke was coming from a hole in the side of the ship. Marcus could hear voices inside, but they were not speaking any human language. The voices sounded worried, maybe scared. "Hello?" Marcus called out. "Is anyone hurt in there?" The voices stopped. Then Marcus heard movement inside the ship. "Stay back, primitive creature," a voice said in broken English. The voice was female, proud and angry. "We do not need your help." Marcus almost smiled. Even when they were crashed and maybe dying, aliens still called humans primitive. But he could hear pain in the voice too. Someone was hurt. "Look, I don't care what you think about humans," Marcus said. "But you're hurt and I can help. I'm coming in." "You dare!" the voice shouted. "We are of royal blood. You will show respect." Royal blood? Marcus thought. Great. Alien princesses with attitude problems. But hurt was hurt, no matter who you were. Marcus found the hole in the ship and looked inside. The ship was beautiful inside, with walls that glowed with soft light. But it was also damaged. Broken glass and twisted metal were everywhere. And there were 3 aliens inside. Marcus had never seen anything like them. They looked somewhat like humans, but taller and thinner. Their skin was pale blue and had patterns that glowed with soft light. They wore armor that looked like it was made from silver and gold. Even broken and dirty, the armor was beautiful. 2 of the aliens were lying on the floor. They were hurt badly. Blood, which was purple, not red, was coming from cuts on their arms and legs. The 3rd alien was standing, but Marcus could see she was hurt too. She was trying to help the other 2, but her hands were shaking. "I told you to stay away," the standing alien said. She had long silver hair and eyes that glowed like stars. The patterns on her skin were brighter than the others. She was clearly their leader. "Yeah, I heard you," Marcus said. He stepped into the ship with his emergency kit. "But your friends are hurt badly. They need help now." "We have our own medical supplies," the alien said. But Marcus could see their medical kit was broken. Strange liquids were spilled on the floor. "Your medical kit is broken," Marcus said. "Let me help." "Human medicine will not work on us," the alien said. But her voice was not as strong now. She was scared. Marcus knelt down next to one of the hurt aliens. This one was younger than the leader, with shorter silver hair. She was unconscious. Blood was coming from a deep cut on her arm. What's her name? Marcus asked. The leader looked surprised by the question. Her name is Vera. But why do you... and her? Marcus pointed to the third alien, who was awake but looked very weak. Senna, the leader said quietly. My youngest sister. I am Princess Lyra of the Zephyrian Empire. Nice to meet you. Princess? Marcus said. He opened his emergency kit. I'm Marcus. I fix things, including people sometimes. Marcus began cleaning Vera's wound. The alien princess watched him carefully, ready to stop him if he did anything wrong. But Marcus worked with gentle, sure hands. He had treated many injuries in his years at the mining station. This will sting a little, Marcus said. He poured antiseptic on the wound. Princess Vera woke up with a small cry of pain. Lyra, Vera said weakly. Are we safe? I do not know, Princess Lyra said. She was watching Marcus work. This human is helping us. Marcus smiled. Yes, this human is helping you. Now hold still. He began to stitch up the wound. His hands were big and rough from years of construction. Work. But he was very gentle. Princess Lyra watched in amazement. She had expected clumsy, brutal treatment from a primitive human. But Marcus worked like a skilled doctor. How do you know how to do this? Princess Lyra asked. You learn a lot of things when you live on the edge of space, Marcus said. Medical help is far away, so you learn to take care of people yourself. As Marcus worked, he began to understand something strange. His simple human medicine was working very well on the aliens, better than it should. The antiseptic stopped their bleeding quickly. The painkillers he gave them worked faster than they worked on humans. That is impossible, Princess Lyra said. She could see it too. Our medical technology is far more advanced than yours. How can your primitive medicine work better? Marcus shrugged. Sometimes simple is better. Sometimes old ways work when new ways fail. He moved to Princess Senna, who had a broken arm. Marcus used a simple splint made from pieces of metal from his tool kit. Again, Princess Lyra watched in surprise. The human's rough tools were fixing her sister's injuries better than their own advanced medical equipment could. There, Marcus said, finishing the splint. That should hold until we can get you proper medical care. Princess Senna looked at her arm. The pain was almost gone. Thank you, she said quietly. It was the first time one of them had thanked him. Marcus looked around the damaged ship. What happened here? Did your engines fail? Princess Lyra's face became hard and angry. We were attacked by our own people. Your own people? Marcus asked. There are those in our empire who do not want my sisters and me to return home, Princess Lyra said. They made it look like an accident, but they sabotaged our ship. Marcus nodded. Politics. It was the same everywhere in the galaxy, it seemed. Well, they failed. You're alive. For now, Princess Lyra said. But they will send others when they learn we survived. Marcus stood up and looked at the three alien princesses. They were still weak, still hurt, and people were trying to kill them. Marcus made a decision that would change everything. Then we better get you somewhere safe, he said. We? Princess Lyra asked. Yes, we, Marcus said. You're under my protection now. Princess Lyra stared at him. This primitive human, this construction worker, was offering to protect three royal princesses from one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. It should have been laughable. But somehow it wasn't. Part 2. The Hunters. Arrive Marcus helped the three alien princesses into the mining station. Princess Vera could walk now, but slowly. Princess Senna's arm was getting better, but she was still weak. Princess Lyra walked proud and straight, but Marcus could see she was tired. This is your home? Princess Lyra asked, looking around the station. The walls were made of simple metal. The lights were bright and practical, not beautiful like the lights in their ship. Everything looked old and used. "It's not much," Marcus said, "but it's safe and warm." The other workers at the station stared at the aliens. Most had never seen aliens before, but Marcus just nodded at them. "Back to work, everyone," he said. "Nothing to see here." The workers knew Marcus well. If he said everything was okay, then it was okay. They went back to their jobs. Marcus took the princesses to the medical room. It was small and simple, but clean. He gave them food and water. Human food, but they could eat it. "How long will we be safe here?" Princess Lyra asked. "Depends," Marcus said. "How good are these people who are hunting you?" "They are shadow hunters," Princess Lyra said quietly. "The best killers in our empire. They can find anyone, anywhere." "How long do we have?" Marcus asked. Princess Vera looked scared. "Maybe 1 day, maybe 2. They are very fast." Marcus nodded. "Then we need to get ready." "Ready for what?" Princess Lyra asked. "To fight," Marcus said simply. Princess Lyra laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. "You do not understand, human. Shadow hunters are trained from birth to kill. They have the best weapons, the best armor, the best ships. They are warriors beyond anything your species has ever seen." "Maybe," Marcus said, "but this is my home. I know every pipe, every wire, every room. That gives me an advantage." "You cannot fight them," Princess Senna said. "They will kill you," Marcus smiled. "Maybe, but I won't make it easy for them." Marcus spent the rest of the day preparing. He moved through the station like a man with a plan. The other workers watched him with curiosity. Marcus was always calm, but today he seemed different, more focused. First, Marcus went to the power room. He changed the lighting system. Now he could make any part of the station dark or bright with the push of a button. The shadow hunters would expect steady light, like on their ships. They would not expect the lights to change. Then Marcus went to the air system. He added special filters that could release sleeping gas into any room. The gas was meant for mining work, to knock out workers, if there was a dangerous gas leak. But it would work on aliens, too. Next, Marcus visited the tool storage. He took the biggest tools, drills, cutters, welders. He put them in different hiding places around the station. The shadow hunters would look for weapons. They would not. Look for construction tools that could be used as weapons. Princess Lyra watched him work. "What are you doing?" "Making them play by my rules instead of theirs," Marcus said. He was setting up a welding torch near a doorway. "They want to hunt?" "Fine, but they're hunting in my territory now." "This is madness," Princess Lyra said. "You should run. Take us far away from here." "Where?" Marcus asked. "They'll just follow us. Better to face them here, where I have advantages." That night, the shadow hunters arrived. Marcus saw them first, on the station's outside cameras. 3 ships, black and sleek, like metal sharks. They moved silently through space toward the station. "They're here," Marcus told the princesses. He had hidden them in the deepest part of the station, in the old storage rooms. "How many?" Princess Lyra asked. 3 ships, maybe 12 hunters total." Princess Vera looked terrified. 12 shadow hunters? We are all dead." "Not yet," Marcus said. He handed Princess Lyra a radio. "Stay here. Don't come out no matter what you hear." "Where are you going?" Princess Lyra asked. "To work," Marcus said. Marcus went to the control room. He could see the shadow hunter ships docking with his station. The hunters were getting ready to come inside. They moved like trained soldiers, fast, careful, deadly. The first group of hunters came through the main airlock. There were 4 of, them. They wore black armor that seemed to drink light. Their faces were hidden behind masks. They carried weapons that glowed with energy. Marcus watched them on his cameras. They were good. Very good. They checked every corner, every shadow. They moved without making any sound. But Marcus knew something they didn't. This was his home. The hunters reached the first junction in the station. 4 hallways led in different directions. They stopped to decide which way to go. Marcus pushed a button. All the lights in the station went out. The hunters turned on lights on their weapons, but the lights only showed a few feet ahead of them. Everything else was darkness. "Clever," one of the hunters said in their alien language. Marcus couldn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. They were not worried, just impressed. Marcus pushed another button. Sleeping gas began flowing into the hallway where the hunters stood. But the hunters were ready for this too. Their masks protected them from the gas. They kept moving forward. Marcus smiled grimly. These hunters were as good as Princess Lyra had said, but he was just getting started. The hunters split up. 2 went left, 2 went right. They were trying to surround Marcus's position. Smart. Marcus let them get deeper into the station. Then he started his real plan. The first 2 hunters entered the workshop area. This was where Marcus kept his biggest machines. The room was full of metal-cutting tools, welding equipment, and heavy machinery. Marcus activated a cutting torch remotely. It sprayed hot flame across the room. The hunters jumped back, surprised. While they were distracted, Marcus dropped a heavy metal beam from the ceiling. It crashed down between them, separating them. Now he could fight them one at a time. The first hunter jumped over the beam and ran toward the control room where he thought Marcus was hiding. But Marcus wasn't there. He was in the walls, crawling through the maintenance tunnels that he knew by heart. Marcus came out behind the hunter. In his hands was a plasma cutter, a tool used for cutting through thick metal. The hunter spun around, but he was too late. The plasma cutter sliced through the hunter's weapon. The alien warrior reached for another weapon, but Marcus was faster. The plasma cutter's beam hit the hunter's armor. The alien fell. 1 down, 11 to go. The second hunter heard his partner fall. He called out in the alien language. When no answer came, the hunter became more careful. He moved slowly through the workshop, checking every shadow. Marcus was above him, crawling through the air ducts. The hunter passed underneath, and Marcus dropped down behind him. But this hunter was ready. He spun around and fired his weapon. Marcus rolled aside. The energy beam burned a hole in the wall where he had been standing. Marcus threw his welding torch at the hunter. It hit the alien's mask and broke it. Without his mask, the hunter could smell the sleeping gas that was still in the air. He began to feel dizzy. Marcus tackled him, and the hunter went down. 2 down, 10 to go. But Marcus knew the easy part was over. The other hunters would be more careful now. They would know that the primitive human was more dangerous than they had thought. Princess Lyra's voice came through the radio. "Marcus, are you okay? We heard fighting." "I'm fine," Marcus said quietly. "Stay hidden. This is just the beginning." Through the cameras, Marcus could see the other hunters regrouping. They were talking quickly in their language. Their leader pointed in different directions. They were changing their plans. Marcus wiped sweat from his face. 2 hunters down, but he was already tired. The remaining hunters would be angry now. Angry hunters were more dangerous. But Marcus wasn't done yet. He had more tricks to show them. The shadow hunters thought they were hunting a weak, primitive human. They were about to learn that humans could be very dangerous when they were protecting something they cared about. Marcus checked his tools and got ready for round 2. Part 3. The Siege. The remaining shadow hunters moved differently now. They were no longer confident. Marcus had killed 2 of their best warriors using primitive tools and dirty tricks. They respected him now, but that made them more dangerous. Marcus watched them through his cameras. The hunters were setting up some kind of device in the main corridor. It was black and round with blinking lights. "What are they doing?" Princess Lyra's voice came through the radio. Marcus frowned. "I don't know. But it's not good." Suddenly, all of Marcus's cameras went dark. His lights stopped working. Even his radio died. They're jamming everything, Marcus said to himself. Smart. The shadow hunters had taken away his biggest advantage, knowing where they were. Now Marcus was fighting blind, just like them. But Marcus knew the station better than anyone. He didn't need cameras to move around. He had built most of these walls himself. He could find his way in complete darkness. Marcus crawled through the maintenance tunnels toward the main corridor. He could hear the hunters talking quietly in their alien language. They sounded confident again. Through a small opening, Marcus could see 4 hunters standing around their jamming device. They had taken off their masks. One of them was clearly the leader, taller than the others, with scars on his face. The leader spoke in broken English, loud enough for Marcus to hear. "Human! We know you can hear us! Give us the princesses and we will kill you quickly!" Marcus didn't answer. He was too busy setting up his own surprise. "You fought well, human," the leader continued. "Better than we expected. But this game is over. We have more hunters coming. Soon this station will be full of our warriors." More hunters? Marcus felt his heart sink. He could fight 12, maybe even 20. But if they kept sending more, "You cannot win, human," the leader shouted. "Give up now!" Marcus finished setting up his trap. Then he did something that surprised everyone, including himself. He laughed. The laugh echoed through the dark corridors of the station. It was not a scared laugh or a crazy laugh. It was the laugh of a man who had just realized something funny. "What are you laughing at, human?" the leader called out. "You," Marcus said, his voice carrying through the station. "You're worried about more hunters coming, but you should be worried about more humans coming." More humans? The leader sounded confused. "There are only 50 humans on this station." "Not on this station," Marcus said. "In this part of space." Marcus pressed a button on a device he had been carrying. It was his emergency beacon. Every mining station had one, but Marcus had modified it. Instead of just sending a distress call, his beacon was broadcasting something else. It was sending a message that would reach every human ship, station, and colony within 100 light years. The message was simple. Human in trouble. Send help. "You see," Marcus continued, "you made one big mistake. You hurt people I'm protecting. And there's one thing you should know about humans." "What?" the leader asked. "We really don't like it when people hurt our friends." At first, nothing happened. The shadow hunters relaxed. The human was bluffing. Then Princess Senna's voice came through the broken radio system. She had fixed it somehow. "Marcus, look at the cameras! Outside!" Marcus ran to a window. What he saw made him smile. Ships. Dozens of them. They were coming from every direction. Cargo ships, mining vessels, exploration craft, even small personal shuttles. They were not warships, but they were human ships. And they were all heading for Station Delta 7. The shadow hunter leader saw them too. His confident expression changed to worry. "Impossible," he said. "How did they get here so fast?" Marcus's radio crackled to life. Different voices, all human, all angry. "Delta 7, this is Captain Rodriguez from the cargo ship Maria. We got your message. What's your situation?" "Station Delta 7, mining ship Phoenix here. We're armed and ready. Delta 7, this is the exploration vessel Star Runner. Nobody messes with our people." Soon, more than 30 human ships surrounded the station. They were not military ships, but they were crewed by humans who had lived and worked in the dangerous edge of space. They knew how to fight. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through clearly. "Delta 7, Marcus, we're here. What do you need?" Marcus picked up his radio. "I've got some uninvited guests who won't leave. Think you could help me convince them?" "Our pleasure, Marcus." The shadow hunter leader was talking rapidly into his own radio, calling for help. But Marcus could see fear in the alien's eyes. "Still think this game is over?" Marcus asked. The shadow. Hunters tried to fight their way out. They ran toward their ships, but the human fleet was waiting. The aliens' sleek black ships were fast and deadly, but there were only 3 of them. The humans had 30 ships, and they fought like a pack of wolves. The human ships were not built for fighting, but humans were creative. Cargo ships used. Their loading arms like giant hammers. Mining ships turned their drilling beams into weapons. Even the small shuttles were dangerous, swarming around the alien ships like angry bees. Inside the station, the remaining shadow hunters realized they were trapped. Their ships were either destroyed or surrounded. More humans were boarding the station. The shadow hunter leader made one last desperate move. He and his remaining warriors ran toward the storage area where the princesses were hidden. "If we cannot escape," the leader said, "we will complete our mission." But Marcus was ready for this too. He had spent the last hour setting up his final trap in the corridors leading to the storage area. As the hunters ran through the corridor, Marcus activated every construction tool at once. Welding torches created walls of fire. Cutting beams sliced through the floor. Heavy machines dropped from the ceiling. It was not elegant. It was not honorable. But it was effective. When the chaos ended, the shadow hunters were defeated. Some were unconscious. Others were trapped under heavy machinery. Their leader was caught in a net made from construction cables. Human workers poured into the station. They were miners, traders, and explorers. They were not soldiers, but they had come to help one of their own. Captain Rodriguez, a tough woman with gray hair and kind eyes, found Marcus in the control room. "You okay, Marcus?" she asked. "I'm fine," Marcus said, "but I've got some guests who need medical attention." Marcus led the humans to the storage area where he had hidden the princesses. Princess Lyra, Princess Vera, and Princess Senna came out slowly. They looked amazed. They all came to help us?" Princess Senna asked. "They came to help me," Marcus corrected. "You were just lucky enough to be under my protection." Princess Lyra stared at the crowd of humans. There were over 100 of them now. Men and women of all ages from different ships and stations. They had dropped everything they were doing to help a fellow human they had never met. "I do not understand," Princess Lyra said. "Why would they risk their lives for strangers?" Captain Rodriguez heard the question. She smiled. "Strangers? Lady, there are no strangers out here. We're all just humans trying to make a living in a big, dangerous galaxy. When one of us calls for help, we all come running." "But you could have been killed," Princess Vera said. An old miner with a gray beard laughed. "Could have been killed staying home, too. Space is dangerous, but it's less dangerous when we look out for each other." Princess Lyra looked at Marcus. "Is this normal for your species?" Marcus shrugged. "Pretty much. We don't like leaving people behind." The shadow hunter leader, still trapped in Marcus's net, spoke up. "This is not over," he said. "Our empire will send more hunters. We will send warships." Captain Rodriguez walked over to him. "You know what, alien? You're welcome to try. But next time you won't just be fighting one human with construction tools. You'll be fighting all of us." She looked around at the crowd of humans. "And there are a lot more of us than you think." The shadow hunter leader looked at the faces around him. Determined faces, fearless faces, faces that said they would never give up, never back down. For the first time, he began to understand that maybe his empire had seriously underestimated the human species. Marcus put his hand on Princess Lyra's shoulder. "Come on," he said. "Let's get you and your sisters somewhere safe. We need to figure out our next move." Princess Lyra nodded. But she was thinking about what she had seen. Humans didn't fight like Zephyrians. They didn't seek individual glory or honor. They fought as a group, helping each other, protecting each other. Maybe, she thought, there was more to learn from these primitive creatures than her people had ever imagined. Part 4. The Revelation. 3 days had passed since the Shadow Hunters were defeated. Station Delta 7 was busy with activity. Human ships still surrounded the station like protective guardians. Engineers were fixing the damage from the battle. Medics were taking care of the wounded aliens and humans. Princess Vera sat in the station's small library, looking at human books and computers. Her arm was much better now. Marcus's simple splint had worked perfectly. She could move her fingers. Without pain. "How are you feeling?" Marcus asked, bringing her a cup of human coffee. "Much better," Princess Vera said. "Your medicine is remarkable." Marcus sat down next to her. "What are you reading?" "Everything," Princess Vera said. "I am trying to understand your species, how you live, how you think, how you build things." She pointed to the computer screen. "I have been reading about human history. Your wars, your discoveries, your exploration of space. It is very different from what we were taught." "What were you taught?" Marcus asked. Princess Vera looked embarrassed. "That humans were a young species, primitive, violent, that you fought each other constantly and could never work together." Marcus laughed. "Well, we do fight each other sometimes, and we are young compared to your empire. But primitive? I don't think so." Princess Vera nodded toward the window, where human ships could be seen working together to repair damage. "No, not primitive at all." She turned back to the computer. "Marcus, I found something strange in your databases. Something about ancient galactic records." "What kind of records?" Marcus asked. Princess Vera's fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. "Old files that came with your navigation systems. Records from alien civilizations that existed long before the Zephyrian Empire." She pulled up a file on the screen. It was written in several alien languages, with a human translation at the bottom. "This is a database entry from something called the Galactic Archive," Princess Vera said. "It talks about different types of civilizations in the galaxy." Marcus read the translation. Most of it was about alien races he had never heard of. But one section caught his attention. "Forge species," he read out loud. "What's that?" Princess Vera's eyes were wide with excitement. "Keep reading." Marcus read the section carefully. "Forge species are the rarest type of civilization in the galaxy. They do not conquer or rule. Instead, they make everything around them stronger. They do not build empires. They build alliances. They do not seek to be the most powerful. They seek to help others become powerful." Marcus looked up. "That's interesting. But what does it have to do with humans?" Princess Vera scrolled down to the next section. "Forge species share common characteristics. They are naturally cooperative. They show unusual adaptability. Their technology often works better on other species than their own. They have an instinctive need to help others, even at great cost to themselves." Marcus felt a strange chill. "That sounds familiar." "There's more," Princess Vera said. She read from the screen. "Forge species are identified by their response to others in danger. They will risk everything to help strangers. They work together without needing leaders. Their simple solutions often work better than advanced technology from other species." Marcus stared at the screen. Everything the ancient records described sounded like humans. "But that's impossible," Marcus said. "This record is thousands of years old. Humans only left Earth a few hundred years ago." Princess Vera shook her head. "Look at the date on this file." Marcus looked. The file was dated only 50 years ago. "This isn't an ancient record. Someone updated it recently." "Yes," Princess Vera said. "Someone who had observed a forged species in action. Someone who watched them help others, fight together and solve problems with simple tools." "Someone who watched humans," Marcus said quietly. Princess Vera nodded. "I think the Galactic Archive has been watching your species since you first left. Your home planet. And I think they classified humans as a forged species." Marcus sat back in his chair. "But if that's true, Why doesn't anyone else know about it? Because forged species are also described as very dangerous, Princess Vera said. Not dangerous to individuals, but dangerous to empires. She scrolled to another section. Forged species have ended more galactic wars than any weapon. They do this not by conquering, but by making enemies into allies. They teach cooperation over competition. They spread their ideas like a virus. Empires that encounter forged species often transform, completely abandoning conquest for cooperation. That sounds good, Marcus said. Why would that be dangerous? Princess Vera looked sad. Because it would mean the end of the Zephyrian Empire as we know it. My people built their power on being stronger than everyone else, on being the best warriors, the most advanced civilization. But if humans are right, she continued, if cooperation is better than competition, then everything my empire believes is wrong. Marcus understood now. That's why they tried to kill you and your sisters, not just politics. They were afraid of what you might learn out here. Yes, Princess Vera said. They were afraid we would meet humans and discover the truth. At that moment, Princess Lyra walked into the library. She looked tired but determined. Sister, she said to Princess Vera, I have been talking with the human captains. They have offered to escort us home safely. That is generous, Princess, Vera said. But I do not think going home is a good idea anymore. Princess Lyra looked surprised. What do you mean? Princess Vera showed her sister the computer screen. Look at this. Read what I have found. Princess Lyra read the ancient records. As she read, her expression changed from confusion to amazement to understanding. Forge species, she whispered. It explains everything. What explains everything? Princess Senna asked, walking into the library with her arm in a human-made sling. Her sisters showed her the records. Princess Senna read quietly, her eyes growing wider with each paragraph. This is why Marcus helped us, Princess Senna said finally. Not because he expected a reward, not because he wanted something from us, but because helping others is what humans do. It's what forged species do, Princess Vera corrected. Marcus felt uncomfortable. Look, I don't know about all this forged species stuff. I just did what anyone would do. No, Princess Lyra said firmly. You did what humans would do, and according to these records, that makes you very special. She looked at her sisters. We cannot go home, not yet. Not until we understand what we have learned here. What are you saying? Princess Senna asked. I am saying that maybe our empire has been wrong about everything, Princess Lyra said. Maybe the path to strength is not through conquest and dominance. Maybe it is through cooperation and helping others. Princess Vera nodded. Look what the humans accomplished here. 30 ships came to help one man. They fought together without any central command. They shared resources freely. And they won against our best warriors. Not because they were stronger, Princess Senna added, but because they worked together. Marcus listened to the three sisters talk. These alien princesses were starting to sound like humans themselves. So what do you want to do? Marcus asked. Princess Lyra stood up straight. We want to learn. We want to understand how humans think, how they work together, how they solve problems. And then? Marcus asked. Then we want to take these ideas back to our empire, Princess Lyra said. We want to show our people that there is a better way. Princess Vera looked worried. The ruling council will not like these ideas. They will call us traitors. Maybe, Princess Lyra said, but maybe some of our people will listen. Maybe some will see that cooperation is stronger than competition. Princess Senna smiled. Maybe we can start a revolution. Not with weapons, but with ideas. Marcus grinned. Now that sounds like something a human would say. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the station's communication system. All hands, please report to the main bay. We have visitors. Marcus and the princesses hurried to the main bay. Outside the station's windows, they could see new ships arriving. But these were not human ships. They were Zephyrian warships. Dozens of them. "The Empire has found us," Princess Lyra said quietly. "What do we do now?" Princess Senna asked. Marcus looked at the alien warships, then at the human ships that still surrounded the station. The humans were outnumbered, but they were not running away. They were getting ready to fight. "Now," Marcus said, "we find out if humans really are a forged species. Because we're about to test everything these records say about cooperation being stronger than conquest." The three princesses looked at each other. They had learned so much in just a few days. Now they would see if those lessons could change. The fate of two civilizations. The final battle was about to begin. Part 5. The Answer Admiral Kex stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the human mining station through the view screen. Around the small station, 30 human ships floated like insects around a light. They were not warships, but civilian vessels, cargo haulers, miners, explorers. "Pathetic," Admiral Kex said to his officers. 30 primitive ships against 50 of our best warships. This will be over quickly." "Admiral," his communications officer said, "we are receiving a message from the station." "Put it through," Admiral Kex said. Marcus's voice filled the bridge. "This is Marcus Chen, foreman of Mining Station Delta 7. You are in human space without permission. Please state your business." Admiral Kex laughed. "Human, I am Admiral Kex of the Zephyrian Imperial Fleet. You are harboring fugitives from our empire. Return them immediately, and we will allow you to live." There was a pause. Then Marcus spoke again. "Sorry, Admiral. The people you're looking for are under my protection. If you want them, you'll have to come and take them." "Very well," Admiral Kex said. "You have chosen death." He turned to his weapons officer. "Destroy the mining station. Kill them all." But before the Zephyrian ships could fire, something unexpected happened. Princess Lyra's voice came through the communication system. "Admiral Kex, this is Princess Lyra. Do not attack these humans." Admiral Kex looked surprised. "Princess Lyra? You are alive? We thought the Shadow Hunters had killed you." "The Shadow Hunters failed," Princess Lyra said. "They were defeated by the humans you are threatening." "Impossible," Admiral Kex said. "Shadow Hunters are our best warriors." "They were defeated by a construction worker with mining tools," Princess Lyra said calmly. Admiral Kex's face turned dark with anger. "Then you have been corrupted by these primitive creatures. No matter. We will rescue you and cleanse your mind of their influence." "You do not understand," Princess Lyra said. "I do not need to be rescued. I need to show you something." On every ship in both fleets, screens came to life. Princess Vera had connected to the communication systems. She was broadcasting the ancient records they had discovered. "These are files from the Galactic Archive," Princess Vera's voice explained. "They describe something called forged species. Please read carefully." Across the Zephyrian fleet, officers and crew members read the ancient records. They read about civilizations that grew strong not through conquest, but through cooperation. Species that helped others instead of dominating them. "Lies," Admiral Kex said, but his voice was not as confident as before. "Keep reading," Princess Senna said. Her voice was gentle, but firm. "Read about how forged species end wars not by winning them, but by making enemies into friends." On the human ships, Captain Rodriguez was coordinating with the other captains. "They outnumber us badly," she said over the radio. "If this turns into a fight, we'll lose." "Then we don't fight," said Captain Kim from the mining ship Phoenix. "We do what humans do best." "What's that?" asked Captain Rodriguez. "We help them," Captain Kim said, while the Zephyrians read the ancient records. The human ships began doing something strange. Instead of preparing for battle, they were moving closer to the Zephyrian fleet. Not to attack, but to help. Several Zephyrian ships had been damaged during their long journey. The humans could see this on their scanners. Without being asked, human repair ships began moving toward the damaged Zephyrian vessels. "What are they doing?" Admiral Kex demanded. "They are offering to repair our ships," his officer reported, sounding confused. "It's a trick," Admiral Kex said, but it wasn't a trick. The humans really were offering to help fix the Zephyrian ships. They sent over repair crews with tools and spare parts. They offered medical help for injured Zephyrian soldiers. On the flagship, a young Zephyrian officer turned to Admiral Kex. "Sir, I have been reading these records. What if they are true? What if humans really are this forged species?" "Nonsense," Admiral Kex said, but he could see doubt on the faces of his crew. Princess Lyra's voice came through the communication system again. "Admiral Kex, I am sending you a recording. Please watch." The recording showed the battle with the Shadow Hunters. It showed Marcus fighting to protect the princesses. It showed the human ships arriving to help, even though they barely knew Marcus. It showed humans working together, sharing resources, protecting each other. "This is what humans do," Princess Lyra explained. "They help others, not because they have to, not because they expect rewards, but because helping others is what makes them strong." Admiral Kex watched the recording. He saw untrained human civilians defeat professional Zephyrian warriors. He saw cargo ships fighting like warships. He saw people risk their lives for strangers. "It's impossible," Admiral Kex said quietly. On the human ships, something else was happening. Zephyrian crew members who had come over for repairs were talking with human workers. They were seeing how humans worked together. No shouting orders. No strict hierarchy. Just people cooperating to solve problems. A Zephyrian engineer named Tor was working alongside a human mechanic named Sarah. They were fixing a damaged engine together. "How do you coordinate without commanders?" Tor asked. "Who tells you what to do?" Sarah smiled. "Nobody tells us what to do. We just look at what needs doing and do it." "But how do you know what others are doing?" "We talk to each other," Sarah said simply. "We share information. We help where help is needed." Tor had never seen anything like it. In the Zephyrian military, everything was about rank and orders, but humans seemed to work together naturally, like parts of a machine that didn't need instructions. Back on the flagship, Admiral Kex was talking with his senior officers. Many of them had read the ancient records. Many had talked with humans. They were all thinking the same thing. "What if the princesses are right?" one officer asked. "What if cooperation really is stronger than conquest?" "Look at our fleet," another officer said. "We came here to destroy 30 human ships, but now they are helping us repair our own ships. How did that happen?" Admiral Kex looked out at the mixed fleet of human and Zephyrian vessels. Crews from both sides were working together, sharing tools, sharing knowledge, sharing food and stories. "Admiral," his communications officer said, "I'm receiving reports from across the fleet. Our crews are integrating with the humans." "What do you mean integrating?" Admiral Kex asked. "They're working together, sir, learning from each other. Some of our officers are asking if we can adopt human cooperation methods." Admiral Kex sat down heavily in his command chair. Everything he believed about strength and power was being challenged. Marcus's voice came through the communication system one more time. "Admiral, Princess Lyra asked me to answer a question. She wanted to know why I helped her and her sisters." "Why?" Admiral Kex asked, almost without thinking. "Because they needed help," Marcus said simply. "That's what humans do. We help people who need help." "Even enemies?" Admiral Kex asked. "Especially enemies," Marcus said, "because helping an enemy turns them into a friend, and friends are stronger than enemies." Admiral Kex looked around his bridge. His officers were nodding. They were beginning to understand. "Admiral," Princess Lyra's voice came through the speakers, "may I come aboard your ship? I want to show you something." An hour later, Princess Lyra stood on the bridge of Admiral Kex's flagship. With her were Marcus, Captain Rodriguez, and several other humans. "Admiral," Princess Lyra said, "I want to ask you the same question you asked me. Why did you come here?" "To rescue you," Admiral Kex said, "to bring you home safely." "And why do you want to rescue me?" Admiral Kex thought about it. Because you are important to our people, because we care about you." Princess Lyra smiled. "So you came here to help people you care about, just like Marcus helped us, just like the human fleet helped Marcus." Admiral Kex began to understand. "We are not so different." "No," Princess Lyra said. "We are not. The only difference is that humans help everyone, not just their own people." She gestured toward the view screen, where human and Zephyrian ships worked side by side. "Look what happens when we cooperate instead of fight. Look how much stronger we become together." Admiral Kex looked at the mixed fleet. Zephyrian ships that had been damaged were now fully repaired thanks to human help. Human ships had been upgraded with Zephyrian technology. Both sides had learned from each other. "What are you proposing?" Admiral Kex asked. Marcus stepped forward. "We're proposing that you try something new. Instead of conquering other species, try helping them. Instead of building an empire through fear, try building one through friendship." "It will not be easy," Admiral Kex said. "Many in our empire will resist these ideas." "All great changes start small," Captain Rodriguez said. "Start with your fleet. Show them how cooperation works. Others will follow." Admiral Kex looked at his officers. He could see hope in their eyes. Hope for a better way. "Very well," Admiral Kex said. "We will try this human way. We will see if cooperation truly is stronger than conquest." Princess Lyra smiled. "Admiral, you asked why the strong human man assisted the alien princesses. Now you know the answer." "Because he is human," Admiral Kex said, "and helping others is what humans do." Marcus nodded. "That's right. We don't help people because we're strong. We become strong because we help people." 1 year later, the Zephyrian Empire had changed completely. The warrior culture remained, but now warriors fought to protect others, not to.